Peter.
Good morning, Kim. How are you?
Pretty good. How are you?
I'm doing all right. Coming
That's good.
along, coming
That's
along.
good. That's good.
Yeah,
I'm off this week.
good for you.
Yes, yes. We
So we
have
get relaxed, Kim.
no.
No.
I have lots of things to do. It just doesn't end.
Okay. All
Yes.
right.
Yeah. So
Mm.
we just got a load of stone delivered. So my husband is putting that into the garage we just finished building yesterday. Took
Yeah.
us I think about a month to build.
Okay.
So he's finishing that up now, and
Okay.
then we can start moving everything in that garage,
There you go. Good
take
for
down
you.
some temporary stuff, and
There you go. Good. Good
um,
for you. Congratulations on
thank
that.
you, thank
Yeah.
you. We have my mom downstairs. She's 8 foot
8 foot
under.
under. That's what she
Yep,
was telling me on Sunday. I'm
yep,
I'm 8 foot under.
yeah.
Yeah.
I had a
So
client on Thursday. I said something, and they looked at me and they're like, "What?" I'm like, "No, she lives in my basement." They're like, "Oh my gosh, I thought you put her 2 extra feet under because she died." I said no. Yeah.
Oh,
So we're gonna be starting the deck this week too to and everything and put her deck on and then also her pavements in. So
okay.
yeah.
Great. Good for you. Enjoy that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're just Elijah's on a trip right now out
Oh
west. So with
nice.
his friends, so we're tracking them on our phones to make sure they're okay. There were some wildfires they had to avoid out there and everything.
I
So
saw that in Washington State.
Washington State, but this was in South Dakota they
Oh
were at when they
really?
hit that. Yeah. So right
Wow.
near Devil's Tower. So yeah. So they left the campsite they were at. They were 2 miles from the fire, and they left and found
Oh,
another one where they were 50 miles from it. So
wow.
yeah.
Pretty
So
scary though.
yeah. Yeah. So well, the good thing was they had EMS emergency vehicle 50 feet from their tent where they
Oh,
were
there you
at the
go.
first one. So
Yeah.
that was at least good there. They would let them know, but yeah, they
So
moved anyway just to be sure. So
now how long is their trip?
they come back next Wednesday, so a week from tomorrow. So,
Wow.
so 13-day trip, 12 nights. So
Wow.
out there. So yeah.
Wow.
So we'll
That's
see.
awesome.
So we'll see how they do. Them being together in such a confined area, together
Hmm.
for that amount of time. I'm hoping they're doing well
I
with it.
think men probably are more likely to not fight like women, or is that false?
I think the male ego can get in the way. So
Oh,
that's yeah. I know what I'm doing. That type of thing.
I see. I see.
So yeah, I think that can play a role. So yeah, but
Hmm.
speaking of having maybe possible um, conflicts in that when you're working with people, today that's what we're going to be talking about, huh?
Yes.
Yes. How do we
Yeah.
deal with conflict?
Yep. Or any kind of negative energy or something that you
Hmm.
deal with from time to time.
Right.
And how do we keep our focus on God
Right. Yep.
the
How do we
whole
keep
time?
God in the midst of that?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So, um, first of all, let's talk about, you know, who is it we could possibly have conflict with? And that answer is almost anybody.
Right.
That could
Right.
be.
Biggest ones are probably family members. You hear a
Yes.
lot of times where family members are, they something happens. I know we have a family member who totally just doesn't want anything to do with her family because the whole thing when President Trump was first elected this round,
So politics came into
politics, yeah, it came into
play.
play. Yeah, and
Gotcha.
she,
Mm,
and again,
uh,
I don't share my political views
mhm.
just because of owning a business and then now in this ministry and stuff. Like, I feel like I need to keep that to myself.
Yeah. They just
But,
show it doesn't matter where you
right,
are with that.
right.
Yes.
But I feel
I
like
think,
maybe she doesn't know us as well as what she thinks she knows us.
mm,
you know?
Yeah.
Yeah,
But yeah,
so that
so but
hurts.
but I think you're showing just something as simple as an election can cause rifts.
Yeah.
We have different things. Now there's always something that's underneath it. There's
Hmm.
always something more underneath there. There's a hurt, there's a pain, a fear that underlies all of that when there's conflict. So um, I think that's one of the first things is trying to have conversation and that with that. So you spoke of keeping God in the midst of it. So
Hmm.
we actually get some direction in Scripture for how do we handle it when we have conflict with others. Now Jesus shared this, and he says it's within the church. Because we
Hmm.
can have conflict with people in church. Surprisingly enough, people in church are not always perfect. Okay, so
Yeah.
we can have conflict there. Yeah. So that's the context he shares it. But I think it comes into play in our lives outside of church, in our lives with our family members, our friends. I think there are some guidelines there we can turn to there with that. You mind if I
Yeah.
share
Nope. Go ahead.
it? Okay. So it's from Matthew chapter 18, verses 15 and following. If your brother or sister sins against you, go and point out the fault when the two of you are alone. If you are listened to, you have regained that one. And then it goes on after that to say what to do, and we'll come back to it. So I think that's the first thing we need to do, because anytime we have conflict, like you said, does your family member really know you? So
Yeah.
you need to have a heart to heart with that person.
Right.
Hey, I'm feeling that there is some tension here. There's something going on. We're not how we used to be, and I'm hurt by it because obviously, if it's bothering you, that relationship means something to you.
Hmm.
It's important for you, and you want to be able to have a stronger relationship there. So even if you feel like you are the one who's been hurt in some way, it's almost like taking that step, being the one to be strong enough to take that first step and be like, I'm making myself vulnerable here. I'm hurt. Maybe I don't understand this completely, or there was something that was done that caused pain, and I'm trying to express that to you. But I think having that heart to heart is really, really important in doing that.
Yeah. So, in one of my courses uh, with the licensed lay ministry,
Hmm.
we had conflict and resolution
Ah, okay.
and stuff. And it did, one of the things it did say is you really need to sit and have a one on one with that person,
Hmm.
um, to be, hey, why why did you say this, or why are you saying things like this, or why are you talking behind my back to people, whatever that situation is, but to meet them one on one in a
Hmm.
quiet space and not to yell at one another.
Right. Yes. Don't try to, because as soon as one starts getting louder, then it just starts escalating, and then it turns into that yelling match. But how
Yeah.
do you really listen in that moment? And that could mean allowing the person to finish their sentence, finish completely what they're saying. Don't cut somebody off. Like as soon if you hear something and you want to respond, don't just jump in immediately, but okay. And then when you do respond, and there's a difference between reacting and responding. Reacting, it's just boom, you just automatically, it just comes right
Yeah.
out. Yeah. Responding is you take time to think about, to comprehend what it is that other person is saying before you say anything back to them. So a response is what's most important. And even then, just saying, now you said this, can you say more about it?
Right.
And that I think is a key thing for me that I have to constantly work on is ask questions, ask clarifying questions there with that. I know Erica and I just had a discussion last week about something, and she's like, "You said this," and I'm like, "Oh wait, whoa, whoa, whoa! I didn't mean it that way.
Hmm.
It didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't express myself the way that I wanted to, or maybe it wasn't received,
Yeah.
that way." But she had to ask a question there, and I'm like, "Oh my goodness, no, I didn't mean it that way. That was not my intent." So, ask those clarifying questions so you can get deeper. So I think those questions, it's almost like you're planting a tree. You want something, you are planting something there. You want this relationship to grow. So you're digging. So each question is like a shovelful you are pulling out of there. You're getting a little deeper so that you can
to the core
to
of
the
the
core there.
issue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. To get in there. Yeah.
Yeah. And you never know what it could be. It could be just, you know, a hearsay down the line, and this person knows somebody that knows you, and they said something like you just have no idea.
Right.
And that whatever they heard could be completely wrong
Right.
as
Hmm.
well.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. And that's where having that conversation one on one is so important. Now, what do you do if you don't feel safe? That I think is key, because there's some people, maybe they are hurt by someone, they want it to be rectified, but they don't feel safe. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
Perhaps physically, but it could be even emotionally or mentally. They don't feel safe going in there. In those instances, I think it's okay to have a third party there
Yeah.
present, just just to be a buffer in between there and help keep things, not that they're sharing their opinion on things and getting
Right.
involved, but just making sure that the playing ground is level
It's
there
almost
with
like a
that.
mediator.
Correct.
Like
Correct.
when you have unions that go to the company and say this is what they want, and you know what I
Right.
mean. You have that mediator that keeps everything in perspective and doesn't
Mm-hmm.
have that. They're in the same playing field for both, like because you don't
Right.
know what's going on.
And they could help with some of those clarifying questions there as well, to
Yeah.
help it dig a little deeper in that. So, um, yeah, because I've encouraged people to do that already when they were in those situations.
Mhm.
And I'll say, if it is me or someone else, someone you feel comfortable with being there as that third person, um, yeah, that I think is a route that we can take there with that.
Right.
So, yeah.
Mhm.
So now that leads us into the second part of what Jesus says here in Matthew 18. Now, he just said, go and have the one on one. If you're listened to, let me mute that. There's my wife texting me. All right. So, um, so if you're listened to, you've already gained that one. Verse 16. But if you are not listened to, take one or two others along with you, so that every word may be confirmed by the evidence of one or two witnesses. All right. So that's the next step that he says for within the church.
Mhm.
Um, so, okay, let's just stick with that, that we're in the church and we have that. So if you have somebody in the church you have conflict with, yeah, try to talk with them. And if you can't, well, then you can get your pastor involved. You can have somebody else in the church that you're both comfortable with be involved there with that,
Right.
just to try to have, to build up that relationship, to find some common ground and build that up again. So, yeah. Um, Anything you want to share?
No, I would completely agree. Is the same thing. Like if you, even if you don't want the pastor, or just make sure you
Right.
have somebody who is on the same playing field as, like not one for the other. Like you just
Right.
need that person
Mm-hmm.
who is will
Right.
help steer you both in the right direction,
Right. Yeah,
and to
because
keep everything calm.
in the church the conflict could be with the pastor.
Hmm.
Pastor could be one
Yeah.
of them involved within that. So
Yeah.
having somebody else there with that,
Yeah.
yeah. So, so having that. So, all right. So that's that next step. Well, no, wait, we're skipping past the personal part here. What about in our personal lives? Okay, I have a conflict with somebody. What do I do when that person, a family member or friend, what doesn't happen? Well, now it's again getting that third person involved there
Right.
with that. Then you could go to your pastor, or you can go to somebody else, a counselor or something in some
Right.
way.
And to bring
Yeah.
them into play and be like,
Yep. Hmm.
yeah.
Yep. There you go.
I think, I think when a conflict happens, it's not, it just sometimes for people, it really hurts their heart, especially if
Hmm.
they're a nice person. And
Hmm.
some people really take it to heart. Like, wow, what did I ever do to you for you to act like this?
Hmm.
Or for you to say something, you know?
Yeah. And then I would even say, even if you don't think the person is a nice person, it could be the same way. Because maybe that person was really hurt in the past and they've put up a wall of some sort to kind
Mhm.
of set to protect themselves
Yeah.
in some way there. Um, yeah, just because a person seems standoffish doesn't mean they don't have those feelings either. Like
Right.
that. So,
I mean,
yeah.
also there are people out there that are very shy too, that are very
Very
introverted.
true. Very true.
Take my niece for example. Sh A lot of
Really?
people will take, I know, right?
Yeah.
A
Oh,
lot of people will take
yeah.
her that, oh, she's not nice, but she is so shy and so backward that she she
Mhm.
she cannot even order for herself because she cannot speak.
Yeah.
That's how
Mhm.
awkward it is. And you try to have her do it herself, but the words don't come out
Mhm. Yeah.
right and stuff. And you feel bad for those people too. It's
Right. And that's what's tough when you have conflict with another person. How can you have compassion for that person and where they are at, and recognizing I don't understand their entire situation. I don't know their history. I don't know their background. So, you know,
yeah.
and I think that's a part of this that comes into play from the very beginning is the prayer. I think whenever we have conflict with another person, you want to bring in a third party, bring God in.
Yeah.
Pray for that person, whatever it is that they are encountering,
Right.
you know, Joe just gets under my skin. I cannot stand him, but God, I'm praying for him right now, whatever it is he's going
Yeah.
through,
Yep.
because for me, I have found when I pray for somebody that um, I may be upset with, it humanizes them. Because in my anger, I don't see them as a person. I see them as an enemy in a way. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when I pray for them, it takes away some of that harshness that I have within myself and helps me to love that person more,
Right.
and care for them. And yeah, just, yeah, yeah, make them more real for me in that moment.
Right.
So
Right.
it's not easy. Oh, it is.
No.
That is not easy at all to pray for somebody when I'm
No.
upset with them. But
No.
but uh, but yeah, I think that for me personally, that is a necessary step that I need to take. I need to pray for them. Yeah.
Right.
So even people of differing political parties that I don't get along with, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just pray for them.
Yeah.
So
It's just, we
yeah.
all have differences and it's okay to have those differences, but it almost seems like in this world it's almost not okay. You know, People don't want to see or hear about those differences. It's always like, no, I'm right, I'm right, I'm right.
Yeah. And it's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's okay that people like the Yankees, even though they have traditionally been the evil empire, and now the Dodgers are the new evil empire. But
Yeah.
yeah, but no, yeah, I kind of see it now. Don't get me wrong; I'm not trying to trivialize some of the important issues in life.
Right.
But when I think about it, what is the difference? So you like the Yankees and I like the Phillies, or vice versa, whatever it's going to be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You like the Eagles. I like
Yeah,
Dallas.
yeah. Okay, that's a little pushy, but I'm kidding. No, no, but yeah, we have these differences that are there. Now we take it in outside things too. I hate tomatoes. There's some people who can eat them like
Yeah.
apples. You know what I mean? We have different tastes. We have different interests in life. We have different experiences,
Hmm.
and all of those things are going to mold who we are, and um, and continually mold who we are because we are always evolving as a person. We're never done until
Right.
we die. We're always changing as a person. We're never static. And so, yeah, just recognizing that in the other person and within ourselves. So,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So, okay, now we get some others involved and we're still having issues with the person. Then what do we do? Well, again, the context within the church that we're given from Matthew 18. Now you've taken 2 or 3 witnesses with you. And it continues on with verse 17. If that person refuses to listen to them, tell it to the church. Okay, so tell it to the church. So this circle of people who are involved in this is starting to grow. Now, sometimes that can be a detriment
Yeah.
because everybody has their opinion and everybody knows
Yeah.
how to fix it, right? But it also can be a benefit because maybe somebody has an insight or some knowledge of something or a gift that can be shared in that circumstance there that can help. So what you're doing is you're expanding your toolbox.
Right.
You're trying to get some other opinions, get some other views to help mend this relationship. And you're going to the fullest extent that you can. You're going to the whole church.
Right.
So if we take it in the congregation context, I would see that as not that we're standing up on a Sunday morning and
Right.
airing our dirty laundry. Okay, that's not it.
Right.
Yeah, but we're going to counsel, you know,
Mm-hmm.
or if we have a mutual ministry committee, you know what I mean? That would be a next step you could take there. So, and I think that would be the next step for us within the congregation that we would take in that regard there. Now, what does that look like with our personal lives? You were going to say something there.
No, no, no. Go.
Okay.
Yeah.
What does that look like though in our personal lives? What steps are we taking there with that? Yeah, who do we get involved? How far do we go? Well, you could have a therapist, a professional therapist, getting
Mm-hmm.
involved there with that. That's bringing in um, something there. Uh, my mind goes to when I think of like a larger group like that. My mind goes to what if there's somebody who's an addict and you have to do an intervention? Well, now you're bringing your family, your loved ones that care about that person, everybody
Right.
together to have this conversation. This person won't listen to me. They won't listen to two of us. But maybe if we all come together and we say, we love you, we care about you, we want what is
Right.
best, and we have that. Yeah. And I don't know about you, we've had those discussions in our family. We're like, we'll be with the kids, family meeting, you
Yeah.
know, and we all get together in the living room or the dining room, and
Yep.
we all sit down together. And it's like, okay, this is the issue. This is what we're dealing with. And we're gonna work on this together,
Yep.
as a
Yep.
family there.
Yeah. I think
So
that's the main thing is um also knowing that you're not alone in whatever is going on, that you could actually turn to somebody and people care. And
yes, yeah, 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 and having others involved there. I've been in situations where I've been so frustrated with another person. It is like I need somebody around just to keep me in check,
yeah.
and having others in there that care for both of you, or at least care for one of you, to
Yeah.
share that love and that support that you're okay, we're gonna be all right.
Yeah.
That's yeah, yeah. Oh, because I know I've been the hothead. Believe it or not, I've been the hothead.
What?
Yeah, isn't it hard to believe? Yeah.
No way.
Yeah, yeah. I remember being in a situation. There were a group of us on a trip together, and there was just some conflict that was there, and I was fired up, and they were like, "Tony, okay, relax. It's okay. Calm down." And yeah.
Yeah.
And by the way, if I'm ever in a situation, don't tell me to relax because
Uh,
that just fires me up more. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So,
yeah.
yeah, and just like it's okay. We're gonna be all right. Yeah,
I
yeah.
was a fight cat being younger, but I never went and I did never look for the fight.
Hmm.
But if you were going to come and you were going to say something, and
Yeah.
I'm going to fight you, I'm not going to back down or anything,
Right. Right.
and that happened twice.
Yeah.
But the one time I remember calling my mom and I said, this person is at my aunt's house and you need to come now,
Hmm.
because I was not about to start somebody in somebody else's house. Like,
Yeah.
that just isn't right. You're
Yeah.
there babysitting.
Yeah.
You don't need to.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we just talked before, right as we were beginning, where I said about the guys and ego with that. My ego would get the best of me, and I want to be right.
Mhm.
I want to win. So if I'm having conflict with somebody, I want to be the one who is right. And I don't remember exactly how the person worded it, but there was someone much wiser than I that questioned the one time and said, do you want to be right or do you want to be in relationship and be loved
Mhm.
and share that love? And it's like, oh man. do I feel like I always have to win? I always have to be the right, you know? Sometimes it's okay to say, you know what? I do not agree with you. We're just going to differ on this,
Hmm.
but I can respect you for where you are at with that. So,
Right.
yeah, yeah. Sometimes you have to agree to disagree
Yeah.
on some things.
And that's how like in psychology courses, I know you had
Mm-hmm.
psychology too. Um, that's one thing that I remember learning is that you don't always know that other side and where they're coming from.
Mm-hmm.
And if you just keep that in the back of your mind,
Right. Yeah.
you kind of can just get through like whatever, them pushing your buttons.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's hard, it really is, but I deal with people daily basis and sometimes it's trying, but you
Mm-hmm.
keep that in the back of my mind and I pray to
Yeah.
God, okay, God, it's gonna be one of those
Yeah.
days.
Yeah.
Because there's days too in our personal life that we may have more strength or more forgiveness
Mm-hmm.
than other days too.
Depends on where we're at, our circumstances. Yeah. If I've had a busy day and I've been running ragged, and then I get confronted or challenged in some way, when I'm at a weak point where I'm tired, I'm hungry, you know what I mean? And I'm
Yeah.
just like, no, all right, that's enough. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then uh, that's that's not a good place, and that's when I really have to remind myself to take a breath. Just three
Mm-hmm.
seconds. Just take a couple deep breaths. Great God, I need you right now. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
I need you, please, please. Um, I know we talked about prayer several episodes ago,
Yeah.
um, and yeah, that that serenity prayer for me when I'm in those times of conflict like that, just to stop, breathe, and say, God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, which is what I
Mm-hmm.
can, yeah, and the wisdom to know the difference. I'm not going to change that person. In their beliefs and who they are. All I can control is me and
Yep.
how I am responding to that person. Yeah,
Right.
that moment. I just had something the other day where I had to like, don't say anything. Do not say anything. This is not a good. That would not be good timing for you. You need to wait. you know,
Yeah.
don't say anything right now. So yeah.
Yeah. I was
Yeah.
oh, I forget what I was doing. I was checking on something and then I came across this reel. Um, so before, I centered my life around God and, you know, the whole breast cancer thing and stuff like that, I still really cared for people. I really did. And I worked for PPL
Mm-hmm.
and I was in charge. They would always have me do the calls that would end up being escalated and going to
Oh,
like
so you get the
the
people that are
congressman.
flipping out and everything. All right.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Yes.
Many times I would go down to hearings and everything.
Oh
So yeah,
wow.
so I was dealing with pretty angry people a
Mm-hmm.
lot. And but I remember I, I would just go and I would sit there and I would let them talk and there's part of me that just wanted to destroy them and everything cuz that's how I am, but you know, and I always thought if I helped you, maybe you'll change.
Mm-hmm.
So if you find this person who's caring, who's going to see where you are, maybe you'll change. But it never changed. They never changed, and that would infuriate me. So then we're going to have to go to court and stuff with for them. It would be like, we tried this. I would
Mm-hmm.
I no. At that point in time, I wouldn't give in then.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd be like, no, the company is, is staying with this.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. Yeah. Oh. Well, all right. So you go through that process. You got more people involved.
Yes.
Okay. So you're talking one-on-one. You get others involved. It's come along that line. You're one of the people that's coming in later to help
Yeah.
in this conversation. So you're taking it to full extent. What do you do? How do you treat that person afterward? That's what we get into here in the following parts here of this reading, right? So you started with the one-on-one conversation in Matthew here. Then you bring 2 or 3 others. Now you have taken it to the church. Okay. So the second part of verse 17. And if the offender refuses to listen even to the church, let such a one be to you as a Gentile and a tax collector. Okay. How did so how do you treat Gentiles and tax collectors?
Not very nice.
You don't? Well, how did Jesus treat them?
Oh, he treated them nice. Yes, he still treated them
There
as a
you
child.
go. A
That's
child of God, right?
yeah.
Exactly. And I guess that's my point, that there are going to be people in our lives we're just it's just not going to work out.
Right.
Yeah, we're not going to get along with everyone, which is tough for me because I want to get along with everybody. I want everybody to like me. I want to like everybody
Right.
else. I want it to be that way. So it's tough for me to accept that, but that is a reality. We are just There will be people we will never see eye to eye with. That there will always be some type of friction or conflict there, but we do not stop loving them.
Right. Right. And I would, you still treat them. I always think of this too, to stick in the back of my mind. You treat others as if you want to be treated. So if that person still is where they are and, you did not come to the conclusion, still be cordial. Say hello, goodbye, good morning, whatever it is. And then you just keep walking.
Because you're respecting them.
Right.
You are honoring them as a child of God. Okay. So I'm not going to look at you as less than me. I'm not going to view you that way. So I'm going to acknowledge you and I will greet you in that. But we're not going to be best friends.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
We're not going to go have dinner together.
Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah. Now, interesting you say that though, but what is the most unifying thing we can do is share communion with one another and share that meal together, which can truly, I think communion can be an absolutely beautiful thing to create healing and wholeness. That's, yeah. Well, there was a circumstance I heard once where communion was withheld from the people because there was conflict there, or even an instance where they were talking about withholding it because of the conflict that was there. And I'm like, are you kidding me? No, that's exactly when we need it.
Right.
When we have that conflict. So, will I say there is never hope? I think there's always hope that with every single person on earth, we can have that relationship. Will it always work out? No, because we're human. It will not work out. But I think God's desire for us is to have that. And that'd be part of God's plan for us. Right. But, we mess it up.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. So start off when you have the conflict, go to that person, try to talk with them.
Yeah, and I would say don't do it right away.
Doesn't have to be right away. Yes.
I would, till you calm down, because you don't want to bring your feelings forefront, because that's when it doesn't work.
Right. And make sure it's a good time for that person too.
Right.
Schedule with them. Don't just pop in. Hey, I'm here to talk. We're going to talk about this right now.
Right. Or if it just healthy. All of a sudden happened, just say, that's it, you and me.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Because then it becomes a power issue. Yeah. And you're trying to control the situation there and control that person, which that is not healthy. So it has to be a mutual coming together for that. So don't chase after them. If it's with your spouse or somebody in your household, don't go. If they're trying to separate themselves, to go and reflect a little bit. Don't follow them in the room. Hey, come back here. We're not done. That is not that I've been guilty of that at all.
Yeah.
Right. I'm the fix it. We're going to fix this now. Let's go. Yeah. So I need to tell myself that. So go one-on-one with that person, but it must be a mutual understanding of what you're coming there about.
Right.
And don't say, I have something to talk with you about, and then spring it on them. Let them know beforehand. I want to come together and talk with you about boom, 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 ABC, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Lay it out there. So, so come together with that person. If you don't feel safe, have a third party there to
Yeah.
help be
Or
that
even after
mediator.
that first meeting that doesn't work and you still want to continue to try to,
Hmm.
fix that relationship, bring in that third.
Then you can bring it in, and that's that second step in Matthew 18. Bring
Yeah.
2 or 3 others. Have somebody else there for this. And if that doesn't work, then you can go a step further in our personal lives. We can get professional help
Hmm.
with that, and find the resources that are available in our communities. I will say, Carbon County is a little difficult to get some of those resources.
Yeah.
That's a tough thing we run into, because there have been people I have referenced them and sent them down into the Lehigh Valley, so they may have a commute for it. I mean, and for some people, it may come down to, if you're going for professional help, well, what does your insurance cover? Because
Yeah.
it's not always cheap to do that. So what's available in that regard? Um, I know for myself, okay, I am a pastor. I am not a licensed therapist, right?
Right.
That's
Hmm.
not my role. I will meet with people. I'll meet with you a few times, but this can't be an ongoing long-term thing,
Right.
because I'm not trained for that. That's not
Mm.
who I am for this. So yeah. Um, Next step in the church, it's getting like the pastor, or if it's with the pastor, getting the mutual ministry committee or
Yeah.
the council involved, and doing something like that if there is conflict. And if that doesn't work, again, you still love the person, you respect and you honor them. Don't
Yeah.
don't go talking about them. Hey, did you hear what Kim did over here? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So, and none of that. It's like that never helps. That just makes things even worse. And if somebody ever questions, you just like, yeah, well, we're working on it. We're trying to work through it, or yeah,
Yeah.
or that's. I've even heard somebody say already, I'm going to keep that between us.
Hmm.
That's between us. That's a personal matter that I don't feel comfortable sharing right now,
Right. Right.
and that's okay.
And that's a good thing to do, because therefore then rumors don't start and things start getting blown out
Right,
of, and then that could
right,
even make whatever is going on between you even worse.
right.
If you just keep
Hmm.
it between yourselves, and like you said, you just respect them. You treat somebody as you want to be treated, and
Right.
I want to be treated as somebody. Be kind to me, smile, say, hey, how are you doing, and then
Hmm.
continue on.
There you go. That's it.
Yeah. So that's,
Hmm.
how I think you could
Right.
deal with that.
Yep. Sounds good. So, but there will always be conflict. That's the
Mhm.
thing. As
Yeah.
long as you put two people in a room and you will have three opinions. So on
Yeah.
something, uh, it, there will just always be conflict, and conflict doesn't have to be negative. You can have some beautiful things come out of conflict.
Right.
Some wonderful things. Like I said last week when Eric and I were having a discussion, she's like, "Wait, you said this?" And I'm like, "Oh, wait, no, no, no." But it helped me realize, okay, when I'm discussing this, I need to watch how I express it and how I'm wording it. And
Hmm.
so it helped me grow in that moment. So conflict can help with growth
Right.
there in that way if it's handled properly. You just don't want to see it turn into violence, either verbally, especially physically. You know what I
Right.
mean? You
Right.
don't want to see
Yeah.
that. But yeah, conflict isn't necessarily a bad thing.
It
So,
could be some good things come out of conflict
hmm,
and stuff.
yep, yep, it can strengthen
Yeah.
relationships.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially once you come through. Look what we've come through together, and now you feel more unified with that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
oh,
But
wow.
it's okay, not to, whatever you do, I always stay true to who you are.
And who God desires you to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, being faithful to that call that God has placed within your heart and following
Yeah.
that. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that's, yeah, that is key there. Definitely. Yeah, don't try to pretend to be something you are not. Yeah, because that's not going to help. You need um, that transparency, that genuineness when you come into those conversations. This
Yeah.
is me. This is who I am. This is where I'm coming from, and I'm trying to, bare myself to you here,
Yeah.
in a way. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
wow,
That was pretty.
that's a heavy one there.
It
That
is a
is.
heavy one
That's a heavy
because
one, but it's
there's so much that there's a lot of courses that are around conflict.
yes,
It's because it
yes,
has been around forever, and
right.
there's so many ways to handle it and everything. So,
Yeah, since Adam and Eve, Cain and
yep,
Abel,
yep,
yeah, it has been around since the beginning of humankind and will be,
yeah,
always will be. So we just need to learn how to grow into it, grow through that
right,
conflict. Yeah.
right.
But, well, thank you, Kim. I
Well, thank
appreciate
you,
it.
Pastor. It's
Yeah,
been fun again,
yeah,
as
yeah,
always.
yeah,
And that was our 11th episode. Can you believe that, guys?
yeah.
11 already.
11. Yeah.
11 weeks.
There you go. Well, and we thank you for being here again
Yes,
today with us, talking about that conflict and that. So,
yes.
we sign off. Thank you. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. How do they contact us?
So you can send us an email at hopefulpod@gmail.com. We have a few more questions that were given to us, so which is exciting.
Mm-hmm.
I love to when we open the email. I'm like, wow, we had 4 questions. Yes. Yeah. So keep them coming in. We love them. Um,
Yeah, because the main reason we're doing this is for all of you and for all of us together as a
yeah.
community of faith. That hey, these are the questions we have. These are things we're struggling with. How do we wrestle with them? So this is an opportunity again. We'll start the conversation. Doesn't mean this is the end of it all right here.
Right.
This can continue on beyond here, beyond this
Yeah.
forum.
Yeah.
So
So yeah,
yeah.
it's been fun.
Yes. Well, thank you again. Thank you all once
Thank you.
again. And we'll see you again next week on The Pastor and the Hopeful Deacon.
Bye
Bye
bye.
bye.